we're back once again. It's 12:53 in the morning here in our studio, and we got a great episode coming for you here.
Yeah,
5G wireless.
5G wireless.
Yeah.
6G.
12.
We are back.
24G.
Oh, we're back. Who do we have here today? This is the second installment of our most recent episode. As you can tell, the last episode was only 20 minutes. This one's not going to be longer than 20 minutes. We have guest 3 in the house once again.
First repeat guest.
Yeah, first repeat guest.
First repeat guest.
No one knows who this man is or where he comes from, but he's here, and
I'll
that's
tell
all.
you
That's
where I
all.
come
That's
from
all that
right
really
now.
matters.
Oh,
Space.
space. The final frontier.
To my co-host today, is there anything worse than overactive coworkers early on Monday mornings?
The absolute worst. There is nothing.
Like
nothing.
I'm talking when 9 a.m. hits on a Monday morning, and they're like they're messaging you. They're like have you followed up on this? Have you done it? Like blah blah blah.
Absolutely
Give
not.
it till 10:15 at least.
At least. Oh, it's the worst. It's the absolute
9 a.m.
worst.
Monday. Sometimes they do they'll the worst one. Actually, the worst is when they put it on like an auto send.
Mm-hmm.
So like they'll write it over the weekend, and then like it'll hit you at 9 a.m. on Monday, and you think that they're sending it to you, but it's actually just the auto one.
Auto one. But you're getting blown up. You're getting blown up on a Monday.
You just suddenly, I have coworkers that do that. They'll schedule things to send out at a certain time, so you think that they're like, you're like, they're working hard, but they're just auto sending it.
Yep, working real hard there. It makes you hate them.
Keeping in the work category, what do you think? How many times have you been in a meeting, a Zoom or a Google Meet meeting, when someone's like, "Can you see my screen? Can you all see my screen?"
Yeah, every day, every other day.
What is the age of people who ask that question?
Like, you click on the button that says "Share my screen," people can see your screen. You don't need to ask every single time. Can you all see my screen?
Can you see my screen?
Can you see my screen?
Honestly, being somebody that shared their screen, I do feel like it is a buffer. It gives you a couple seconds to collect your bearings. So, you kind of ask that just to give yourself another 5 to 10 seconds.
I agree with that one.
Of preparation. But it's not necessary.
What do you think, guest 3?
It's like people calling into a radio show. They always have to ask,
Yeah.
is this me? Am I live?
Yeah,
Am I live?
Am I on?
Right.
Yeah.
It has like
Always
a
have
little
to ask.
humility.
You
to
know
the,
you're on, but you just have
people
to ask.
are like, he's cool, he's normal, he's a human. Like, he's not,
Is it me?
Is it me?
How do you think Hillary Clinton just moved past from the whole Bill Clinton getting a blowjob from a Monica Lewinsky situation? Was she just like, that's Bill being Bill, or was she more upset? What do you think?
Ooh. Well,
I think she had to, because they had a plan for her to launch a political career after
After
him
Bill.
running, after him being president. So she had no choice but to suck it up, and so she could become a senator of New York.
yeah, she had to go along with it. And maybe Bill had always been kind of promiscuous. But it's pretty wild to think that Clinton was president for 8 years. Bill Clinton
He was.
During the
90s,
Yeah,
right?
during the 90s. And then he fell off, harder than anybody. Except Hillary,
Well, he got very lucky. I mean, times were just good in the 90s
Right.
while he was president. So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell if he was a good president or just the times were good.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
wouldn't say he fell off either. He's still pretty, I feel like he's doing well.
He's doing well.
He's
Yeah.
he's like obviously ultra famous, but he's like selling books. He's giving speeches. He's
He's doing very well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
He's doing well.
chilling.
He has not been canceled, and he probably should be.
Right. I
Probably.
mean, he's a big time celeb. Like any room that Bill Clinton walks into, they're like,
Right.
that's Bill
He
Clinton.
would still be at like any convention, any DNC
Yeah.
convention, any.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was begging on Hillary winning, and Hillary did not win, as we all know. So that's that.
Okay. Why do you think people don't use the term mid-afternoon more?
Mid-afternoon.
What time is considered the mid-afternoon?
Mid-afternoon, as in like mid.
You can't just
It's like the
people
shitty
are constantly
afternoon,
like
like,
good.
mid.
Mid-afternoon.
Yeah, people are like
It's
good
the-
afternoon.
The afternoon is mid,
Mid, it's
right?
mid, yeah, it's
Your
mid,
afternoon
shitty.
is mid. That's why.
Like 2 p.m.
Ah,
Like 2
yeah.
p.m. is like mid.
It's mid.
I consider mid-afternoon 3.
3. Okay. It's like, well, again, to guess 3's point, mid meaning the shittiest part of the afternoon, or at the actual middle of the afternoon.
Afternoon is mid.
Yeah, because 3 p.m. would be the middle of the
Right.
technically
Afternoon
the
is
middle.
mid. Night is where it's at.
Night, yeah, night's where it's at. but the middle, so the worst part of the afternoon is the early afternoon because you get tired, or like 4 o'clock when you also get tired. Anyway, on to the next question.
So I've recently noticed on delivery apps such as like GoPuff and those similar like bring anything you want grocery delivery apps.
Get here.
You can buy things such as like vibrators on them now and strap-ons. Do you foresee my co-host have a question? Do you foresee any issues with a male packer / delivery driver delivering these items to a girl who's clearly living alone and answers the door by herself? Because the people that pack the orders and deliver them, like they clearly see what's going on the order because they're packing them.
Yeah.
So, like, do you foresee any issues arising from this?
So we're talking about a male packer delivering a sex toy or a vibrator.
A lot of people like work for GoPuff though. Like they an order comes in and they like pack it and they also deliver it. So they're literally packing what's going in the order, so they know what the person's getting.
Yeah.
And they see like some random girl who's living alone orders a vibrator and a strap on, and then they go to their house and deliver it to her. Do you foresee any issues arising from that?
Well,
I mean, more power to the delivery driver.
yeah. But what if she gets? I guess the question is, what if she gets freaked out?
What if she gets frightened?
They have contact.
Is that a woke? I think that's a woke concept to frighten.
To frighten someone.
You can't.
Never, yeah.
Apparently, we read the other day you can't give feedback anymore to employees.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I swear this is. I'm not even trying to be funny. This is like.
Yeah, I saw that.
This has been written up a few times.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to give feedback to employees anymore because it's too triggering.
Triggering. The word itself, feedback.
Yeah.
That's what the issue is. Feedback.
Bosses you have to like phrase it a different way or some shit. Bosses can't be like, I want to give you feedback. They'd be like, let's talk about like your personality. But like,
yeah, you know what? That people are just soft these days. We won't accept a society of soft people.
Oh
no, here we go.
Society of soft people.
And we're back.
We're back. All right, we've got and then when it comes to the good. Oh, sorry about that. I had a cough. When it comes to the good stuff, how many relationships do you think have suffered and have been ruined simply due to one person having an Android and one person having an iPhone? Because simply you cannot edit messages or unsend them.
Ooh, okay. Well,
think about the relationships of couples out there that are in either like a same company phone situation or a different company, and how like pretty crazy to think about.
It is, and we've talked
solely
about
because you can either edit or unsend messages.
Well, yeah, solely for sure. And the edit feature is brand new on the iPhone. But I will say, as someone who was once single recently, that people discriminate for having an Android. If they say if they see the green, even if beyond the editing itself, if they see a green bubble, they'll say ew. Ew, this is a green bubble, and I am not going to talk with this person.
It's not even that. I don't even think it's like so what? You have an Android, but I think it's a huge deal being able to edit or unsend messages.
Well, for sure,
yeah. And then all of a sudden you can't.
I see the question. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you got to be able to edit.
Like back in the
day,
my
hot take is messages should not be edited. Once you send the message. You gotta live with it.
You gotta live with it.
I disagree.
But sometimes it's fun to shoot them off. Shoot by the hip.
Right. Shoot by the hip. Shoot by the hip.
And live with the consequences.
Live with it.
Live with it. Wow.
All right, I have a question for you guys. I think you'll like this one. It's not as funny, but it's intriguing. What's the most iconic? After you hear that HBO sound, like
yeah.
What's the most iconic intro after that? Is it Curb?
Most iconic HBO intro.
Ooh.
Yeah, like when you hear that HBO intro, what's the most iconic one?
Easily, Sopranos.
Or I think Entourage is up there too. Entourage.
Wake up this morning.
Yeah, wake up this morning.
Got yourself.
I think it might be Sopranos. You're right.
And, the Hard Knocks just did a kind of a take on the Hard Knocks when they were driving to the stadium in East Rutherford.
Or is it Real Time with Bill Maher?
Ooh.
Oh. Wait, how does this go?
How does it go?
Real Time. Can't even do it.
What about Bill Maher coming back to work without his writers?
Easy?
What about
He's
Bill
doing
Maher?
He is.
He's going to try it.
He's doing it.
The man himself, Bill Maher. He better be good. We'll see.
Has anyone ever
strike breaker?
All right, question.
Bill Maher.
You guys both have iPhones, right?
I do. I just got a new one.
Has anyone in the history of iPhones ever hit yes, you can track me when the app asks you? When the apps ask you,
Yeah. Track everything I do. Track my data.
it's just they constantly
Right.
ask you.
Yeah.
Can this app track you every move you make?
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
who hits yes?
Yeah.
Is the
Who
question.
does? That's a good question. Absolutely not. I mean, I'm sure there are people.
Who's out there that hits yes?
You know, Whitney Cummings. I just watched a Whitney Cummings special, comedian, and she talked about how this is she did a whole bit on this. She's like, "What's the big deal?" So you ask them to track you. You're gonna have her phone number and your email. Like, big deal.
They already have your info anyway.
Yeah, they have your info. She's like, back when I was young, they used to throw a phone book at your house that had both your name and your address and your email. But no, except it goes beyond that because the data mining in today's world is beyond anything we can conceive of. So
It's insane.
yeah,
What happened to Crunch bars?
Crunch bars?
Crunch, like Nestle Crunch,
Crunch bars, yeah.
or like
They now have Crunch Bites.
ooh, Crunch
They have
Bites.
Crunch Bites.
I think we're talking about granola bars.
Oh, those Crunch bars.
Are those? Yeah, which? Yeah, we need more specification here.
The Crunch,
Oh, wait.
the candy bars, I don't know.
Trying to get
Why
the
are there shopping
airport.
carts everywhere?
Shopping carts everywhere.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the
Like, not just close to
have you
grocery
seen
stores.
the guy on YouTube who shames people for not putting their shopping cart away?
Why are there
Yeah,
shopping carts
I've heard
everywhere?
about this
though?
guy.
Have you seen this guy?
Gotta be a problem.
You gotta post a link in the comments.
He shames people for not putting the shopping cart away. He throws stickers on their car, and they get very upset.
I've heard. Oh, good. We need people calling.
All right, what do
people
you
out.
think about Hollywood's obsession with Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart being best friends?
Ooh. Yeah.
It's
What-
like
why?
like all the producers, I'm sure they're like, put them in the show together, like it'll be flawless.
Why
like
the
everyone
two
will
of
lead
them?
it up. Like who cares?
Okay, who cares? Why the two of them? Why are they?
I think it's because it's like
it's
old
ra-
white
it's-
woman, black guy.
No, it's racist because she went to jail.
Oh.
But
Everyone's
she was
obsessed
in prison.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, she went to prison. Here's a black guy. We're gonna put them together.
But I feel like there's also this undertone that Martha Stewart is a big pothead stoner like Snoop. Isn't that part of
Right.
this whole? Yeah.
Right.
People
Which
think
is also
Martha
more-
likes to smoke.
right, more
Yeah, and she's also a white woman.
covert racism.
Yeah. Covert racism.
How can Apple be creating solutions to AI and future generations 50 years from now, but they can't autocorrect ducking to fucking?
It's a good point.
What
Yeah.
do you mean? It always, every time I try to write fuck it, autocorrects to like.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
You try to write fucking and it writes to ducking.
Well, it does that on purpose.
Do you think ducking is the most overused overused
Wow.
unintended word ever?
Yes. And it's one of the most frustrating autocorrects that exists.
Right.
Ducking.
It's
No,
so, that's one of the
don't
most
want to say
woke-
ducking.
Woke thing about Apple there is like it's
Yeah.
like you wrote fucking, you want to write fucking, not ducking.
Well, Apple does have any type of like controversial word. Apple will definitely try to. The autocorrect goes crazy on. You know.
All right, I have another question for you guys.
Yeah.
Why do talk shows have it set up so that guests have to turn their neck so much when they face the host? They always look a bit uncomfortable when they sit down and they're seated.
You want swivel chairs?
Every talk show, like pay attention next talk show, little clip or whatever you watch. The guests will walk out, and like the host is like has like a swivelly chair or whatever. They can like turn towards the guest. It's fine. They're comfy.
Yeah.
The guest always has to sit down and like awkwardly be like,
Yeah. It's a good
why
point.
is it
It's
set up like that?
I mean,
It's super fucking weird.
it's a good. So is somebody
What talk shows?
is somebody so,
All of them. I guess the only way is like you have to like literally sit. You can sit like this and face them, but if you're just sitting,
You remember the
straight-
show Jiminy Glick where he used to
Jiminy
move
Cricket?
it around in the chair?
in the chair? Wait,
Like that?
was that a real show or was that a satire show?
It's a satire show.
Interesting. I feel like Jiminy Glick. Well, thinking
Jiminy
of Jiminy,
Cricket.
I'm thinking of Jimmy Fallon, but I'm also thinking of Letterman and Carson,
Yeah, you
who
gotta
all
think of them
who
all.
all position their chairs. You're right. There's
Right.
there's
Well, this was making fun of.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
My
good
opinion
point.
is that it gives the host power in a way.
For
Because
sure.
like the host is like a little bit higher,
A little higher up.
and the guest is like awkwardly kind of like
I honestly I feel like David Letterman made the most of that. He had a power trip going on with his guests, And of
Yeah,
all
they all probably do.
yeah. I mean,
think about it. You every night you have like big fucking A-list
Yeah.
like people coming in, and you have to try to remain some confidence and like
for sure,
power.
Johnny Carson would be like the most fair. I guess there's also the whole setup with the angle of the camera to where we're seeing them, where the host is seeing them. It's hard to tell exactly how much they're craning their neck, but it's fair because Letterman would for sure do that, and Jimmy Fallon kind of does that too. You would want your guests to, if you were a good host, you'd want your guests to be comfortable.
Yeah, Letterman was a fucking asshole.
He was,
huge. He would say
asshole.
ridiculous shit to people.
He would.
Yeah.
Johnny Carson was a great guy. He was friendly. It was more of a less informal, interview, but different era.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What do you think about people just freaking the fuck out everywhere? Like in comment sections and online newspapers, needing to voice their opinion on everything and debate with everyone.
Online comment sections are unhinged.
The Wild West.
Yes.
It's insane.
I don't know why that is.
It might be a bad question. I'm so sick of it.
It's not a bad
You can't, like, we were all looking at our screen time on our phones recently. It's like, we spend so much time staring at our phone. Why do I read people's comments on things? I don't know. I need to get away from it.
No, we all do.
Right.
We all want the feedback.
Comments, they should not exist.
This is feedback.
You should not be able to comment on anything.
Wow, you want YouTube to turn all the comment section?
All comments
when I
turned
get to,
off.
When I get to a video and a comment's turned off, I think that person is a huge, pussy.
No comments.
You got to take the comments.
No.
If you're on YouTube, you got to hear the comments.
Like, society would be way better without comments.
Probably true.
All right. Why does the Amazon app not have a dark mode?
Oh,
wow.
It does not? I heard recently that Reddit
does not.
Reddit
is dark mode.
Reddit has a dark mode.
It's dark mode racist.
Or is it just good for your eyes? I think it might be healthier for your
Reddit
eyes.
definitely has dark mode.
But supposedly the Reddit community had argued to Reddit to add a dark mode that didn't have until a few years ago. It didn't allow it.
That is true, but that was on other apps.
Oh.
There were other independent Reddit apps, and that was the whole problem.
Yeah, and they got rid of those apps, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which is that good or bad?
Well, I used to use one of those apps.
Yeah, you probably liked. They were great. Those other apps were great.
very good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alien Blue.
And what was the other one? There's another bit of that. Yeah.
Let's go. All right.
Okay. Question. Back to host.
How about hospitals? Hospitals never get any flack, or they never get called out. So you literally walk into a hospital, they touch your fucking toe, and you get an $8,000 bill. But it obviously, if you have insurance, like the insurance picks up $7,500 of that.
Yeah.
But it's like the greed.
The greed.
The money,
You're saying that nobody ever talks about
I don't think
the
hospitals get called out
healthcare
enough.
costs?
No, hospitals.
You think nobody ever talks about
They
this?
fucking charge you $50,000 to their insurance company for like doing one little,
And nobody talks about this?
I don't think so. I think people talk about like the insurance companies and pharmaceutical, but not so much with like the hospitals.
Well, considering you both without going too much detail, you spent significant time at hospitals. You know how messed up the billing can be.
To put it in simple terms, I've received a lot of bills from the hospital.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the insurance, and it is the greed.
Oh, it's the paper they waste too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've signed up for like notifications many times, and they just continuously send me like 30,000 long pages in the mail.
Yeah, it's absolute madness, and that's
I don't want your mail
blame?
anymore. I just want the bill online.
Yeah, who do we blame for this?
Why? Like it's just
Only there was
bloated.
somebody to blame.
there has to be.
I
Something
wonder who it could be.
who runs the
I
hospital.
wonder who it could be.
Well, let's just say the name, because I think we have two different names, or we have the same name in our head. I blame Obama. Just kidding. Who do you blame, Guest 3?
Obviously, Obama.
Obama. But you know what? It's bigger than him, because it's just the bloated healthcare system in general. The administrators. There's too many administrators. There's too many bureaucrats.
Too many Obamas.
Too many Obamas. It's just too bloated.
All right.
Get rid
Last
of the
question here
Obamas.
on the same topic is like, why do you think pharmaceutical ads and commercials are like, no one ever takes a risk and it's all this fucking same shit? When was the last pharmaceutical ad you saw on TV?
Yeah, it's so
that
safe.
Wasn't like that, like bubbly,
Right.
actor actress type commercial with like and then it goes in like a 3-minute rant about how there's a good chance you'll die, and like you shouldn't take this, and like you must not be you must not take this if you've had milk today. There's a. Why do you think nothing ever veers away from that type of ad? It's all the exact same every time.
Yeah, it's the most safe commercials of all time.
It's true.
I don't know.
It's a question.
They don't need to take. I guess they don't need to take a risk. They don't need to take a risk. They don't need to
need an answer.
But the
questions need
the people
answers.
out there that are eating this shit up. They see like these people are actors. They're acting in a commercial and they're like dancing around a playground. Like when I took 25 for the fall, I felt better.
Yeah, when I took this medication, I felt like a new man.
They're fucking actors.
They're all actors. That's what
and
I'm
then
saying.
someone's sitting at home and they're like depressed state of mind, which is like fine, but they're like, oh, I'm gonna take this because that person.
Who are they advertising to?
Yes,
who's their
target?
Because
Thelma,
you don't see a commercial and decide you need a medication. That's not how
Thelma in Arkansas
it works. So who are they advertising to? I want to know.
Well, I don't know. I think you know what exactly what host one said. They're advertising to that depressed person that doesn't know how to fix their condition. Otherwise, who would buy? But then no one else is going to buy their commercials.
Right, but are they asking their doctor? Are they calling their doctor and say, "Give me give me Ozempic"?
Right.
I saw in a commercial.
That's a great point. I'm always
who are
that
they
too.
advertising to? That's my question.
They're hoping when the people go to the doctor, they'll be like, "I want that one."
Yeah, but it doesn't seem very effective because it's so safe. Exactly. It's so safe, and they're using actors.
It just doesn't seem
it.
like that would happen that much.
I think it's more so for when like the pharmaceutical reps go into the doctor's offices. They're like, "Oh, did you see that commercial of ours?" Like,
I have a question. What is the deal with corduroy?
The material?
The material corduroy.
Oh, wow.
I think you're talking about the little bear.
The bear too.
Not the bear. The material. What is the deal with
You know what I'm fucking sick of? Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts being attached.
Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts.
You never see them separate anymore.
Yes.
Like, they're the same company. I get it. Right. I get it. But like...
Oh, they are.
Come on.
Dunkin' Donuts, much better than Baskin Robbins.
Ooh, bold statement.
And supposedly Dunkin' has been topping more of Starbucks' menu. That's a whole thing.
This is where it moves.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe we should...
we're going to wrap this episode up, folks.
We're going to wrap this up.
Is there any parting words that you want to say about motivationally today?
We didn't really come with a motivational topic. We kind of jumped right in here.
The reason I want to say for our listeners, we're not focusing so much on the motivational part, and it's on purpose, actually. It sounds like we might be like, unorganized, and we're not trying to... But the reason is because we actually want to try to veer away from it a little bit, and we're trying to figure out how to go about doing that. Yeah. So bear with us while we figure this out, and we hope you had a good time listening to this episode.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, we thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.